So let us begin in a comfortable seat. I'm propping myself up over a bolster. If you want to sit against a wall, you are more than welcome to. You can sit on a block, you can sit on the floor, you can sit with the legs crossed, butterfly, or legs out in front of you, whatever feels good. Let's take a Hakini mudra. Hakini is with all of the fingertips and the thumbs coming together, making a nice little kind of sphere. And we're just going to drop that down into the area just in front of the pelvis, down into the lap. Rest the wrists onto the thighs. And if you haven't already closed the eyes, you might like to, or you can just gently drop the head, drop the gaze down just in front of you. Just take a few moments to become centered and grounded here as you come to sit down, preparing the mind and body for practice and letting go of what transpired through your day today. Letting go of any thoughts that have happened or are to happen. And really bring yourself into the present moment, these moments that are happening and changing every single millisecond. Notice the temperature within your room. I'm hoping that you feel comfortable and warm at least. Noticing clothes that you're wearing, the clothes that you choose to practice in. Hopefully they are comfortable and not distracting. And then become a little bit deeper, more connected to how you feel. So connect into the mind's thoughts, connect into the feelings, the emotions that you might be experiencing just sitting here. Do you feel comfortable and at ease? Do you feel that you need to move? And then start to draw into the physical presence as you sit, grounding yourself to the earth. Feeling the breath, breathing in and out through the nostrils. Noticing each breath as it comes in and each breath as it leaves the body. Notice any areas of the body that might feel tense, might feel tight. You might even be just gently gripping those parts of the body. Try and relax, release, and let go as much as you can. And feel the areas of the body that feel really good today. Maybe they are already relaxed, released, and let go. Continuing to find a nice steady, even rhythm of breath, breathing in through the nostrils, slowly, deeply, exhaling even slower, even deeper. And today we have the full moon, the wolf moon, a time of intuitiveness, a time to nurture, to rest sometimes, and a time of wisdom and reflection and knowledge. So for today's practice, lessening the effort that you put in, taking a little bit more steady to feel that nurture, feel that nourishment, and almost restore the energy, restore the balance. As you take your focus down to your mudra, the Hakini mudra, feel the space that is between your palms. Feel that mini cosmos that you are holding. Feel the sense of touch with the fingertips and the hands resting gently on the thighs. Take a breath out and just close the mudra. Bring the palms together and just feel all of the parts of the palms together, and then just gently start to rub the palms. Create some heat, create some warmth. And then bring those palms to cup the eyelids. Seal in even darker vision there. And gently open the eyes behind the palms. Let those cracks of light come back in. And then release the hands down. Give the fingers a little wiggle. Circle into the wrists. Give the hands a little shake out. Nice. And then just lift the knees and bring the feet out in front of you as you just rest the body over the thighs, softening through the head, the neck, the shoulders, the spine. Relax the chin to the chest. Notice how this gentle forward fold starts to feel into the upper back, into the middle back, and down into the lower back, particularly the sacrum. You might feel that area starting to stretch and release as you breathe out and let the head drop a little bit more. Take a deep breath in. Deep, sighing exhale out of the mouth. And then gently roll up through the spine. As you come back up to seat and sit nice and tall, just gently roll the shoulders up towards the ears and back down. Nice. Let's get into movement. So I've swapped my mat over today. Normally I have my cork mat, as you know, up here, but this one is my lunar and wolf yoga mat. So I've got a nice wolf on there for the wolf moon. Coming into your tabletop position and start to find some freedom of movement, moving the hips left and right. So when we do come to a lunar practice, a lot of it is lower body, so particularly into the hips, into the sacrum. So really taking the focus into the hip joints, into the bones, into the connective tissue, into the base of the spine. And you might like to start moving your body in ways of cat and cow, so a little bit more mobility through the spine. Do this really slowly, really mindfully, being completely conscious of your movement with breath. So that feeling of exhaling as you release, and that feeling of inhale as you expand. Make sure the head, the neck, the shoulders, the rib cage, the sides of the body all get involved in this movement. And then nice and slowly widen the knees. Bring the big toes to touch as you gently, softly come back into your wide leg child's pose. You can keep the hands out in front of you if you like, or you can bring them down under the head, or place a block or bolster underneath the forehead. Let the forehead come to rest. Soften down as you breathe out into the earth. And just notice how this first posture starts to feel. So this is our first yin pose. I'm going to stay here for a few minutes. So reminding yourself of the 3 principles of yin: finding stillness, holding the pose, and working towards an edge. Focusing on that first principle of yin, finding stillness. The hardest thing is to keep the mind still and calm when you hold a posture for 3 minutes. Maintaining presence and consciousness to the posture. Trying not to let the mind wander. And if it does, bring it back to your breathing, bring it back to the sensations that you're experiencing within the body. We're here for another 30 seconds or so. Making those last few moments count. Breathing in deeply, exhaling fully, slowly releasing. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Thinking about and preparing to move out of the posture super slowly. Bring yourself back up into tabletop. And then just notice that release, that recovery. And just circle out the hips there. And we're going to come down onto our backs into a reclined swan. So bringing yourself down and just gently bringing both knees in towards the chest. First of all, take them just a little bit wider of the rib cage so that the belly is nice and free. It's not compressing against the thighs. Make sure the spine is long and lengthened. The shoulders are spread out and resting down away from the ears. Pull the knees towards the shoulders. Lengthen tailbone. And then just move those knees out to the side as you circle through the hip joint. And remember, this is very nurturing, slow in. Nothing is going to be too taxing through this practice today. Circle the other way. And then let's prepare for our first side of reclined swan. So placing left foot down, right foot crosses over your left thigh, and you gently draw that right knee away from you. Now, this might be enough, and you can stay here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you interlace the fingers behind the back of the thigh, relaxing that left knee, left foot down. And you're going to start to pull the left knee towards you, releasing into that right outer hip, right glute, right piriformis. Close the eyes, soften through the facial expression. Relax the neck, the throat, the chest, the shoulders. The inhale breath might be a count of 4, 5, or 6. The exhale breath might be a little longer, 5, 6, or 7. Aiming not to fight with the posture, but work with it. Noticing how the body responds to this hold. It might be particularly tight in that right outer hip, right glute. So breathe out deeply. Try and soften the connective tissue and all of those larger muscles, quite big muscles in the buttocks. Coming towards the last 30 seconds of this hold here, maybe you have pulled that knee in closer towards the chest. Maybe you're feeling that you have worked towards your edge. And as you slowly release the hands, if they were behind the thigh, you keep the right foot where it is, place the left down. Take a moment to feel that release out of the posture. And we're just going to roll over onto our right hip to give it a little bit of release. So keeping the right foot where it is, just drop the left knee down. You might need to move the left foot a little bit. That's okay. We're just going to release out the left hip flexor there. So the right foot is adding a little bit of extra weight on top of that left thigh. So both legs are bent. The right hip is open. Left hip is closed. So the right foot gently adds a little bit of weight onto that left thigh. That's it. Nice. And breathe in. Bring it all back into center. Release that right foot out to the wider edge and just take a constructive rest there. Exhaling, soften the knees together. Relax through the buttock cheeks here. I probably guarantee they grip a lot without us consciously knowing about it. But when we take our mind to the buttocks, we go, okay, I had gripped all the muscles there. Heel toe the feet back into parallel. Pull those knees back in, lengthen spine. Pull the knees towards the shoulder. Nice deep exhale. Let's prepare for the left. So our right foot goes down, left foot cuts across the thigh. There's always a nice little light flexion in that left foot, sole of the foot pushing away. Of course, you can stay here, making sure the spine is nicely in line with the hips, so hips and shoulders in alignment, or you can interlace those fingers, taking them behind the thigh, relaxing that right knee and the right foot. I have instantly noticed that this side is much tighter. So always trying to find balance between the right and the left sides. We are not symmetrical beings, so you can't always force that balance to occur. Be aware, be conscious as we move to the other side. Throughout our practice today, we do have right and lefts to find that balance between masculine and the feminine sides of the body. Most lunar practices will include those. Not being hard on yourself, softening into the posture for the 3-minute hold. Soften out that left outer hip, left glute, left piriformis. Maybe you feel it somewhere else in the body. Try and relax the areas of tension, particularly facial expression, jaw and neck. Coming up towards the last 30 seconds of this hold, maybe you have pulled the knee in just a little bit closer towards the chest. If you haven't, now might be a good opportunity, exhaling as you do that. Again, finding your edge, not putting yourself into a place of pain or risk of injury, but just feeling something a little bit more. Release the fingers if you had them behind the thigh, letting that right foot come down, holding the left where it is for a moment. And then we're going to roll over onto our left hip this time. So the right knee comes down to the mat. You might need to move that right foot just a little bit, and the left knee comes down. And if the left knee doesn't quite meet the mat, you might like to place a block under there to fill the space. So both knees are bent, facing towards the left side of your mat. And that left ankle is gently adding weight onto the right knee. This posture, you might feel it gently into the outer hip here, or in the right glute, or in the hip flexor and the quad. That's it. Yeah, perfect. And breathe it in, bring it all back into the center. Take the feet wide, drop the knees together, soften out. And just for a moment, spread the shoulder blades, take the arms up into cactus. So we're going to open up the chest, backs of the hands come down, and the fingertips are just gently curling in. Soften again through both buttocks here, relaxing through the hips. Soften across the lower back, the sacrum. Feel the mat supporting you underneath. And then bring the hands back to the hips, heel toe the feet into parallel. Draw the knees back up once more. Squeeze the knees towards the shoulders. This time, gently lift the head and the shoulders away from the mat. You might bring the forearms on top of the shins, so you're pulling yourself into a nice little tight ball, looking down between the legs. Nice and slowly unravel. Big, big, long stretch. Legs go long, arms go above the head. Big, big stretch out. And then let's bring ourselves onto our side. Slowly push yourself up to seated. So stay sideways onto your mat. To come into half straddle. So left leg goes out to the side, right leg comes into the center. You can sit on your bolster, sit on your block. If you like, that foot can come into the thigh, or you can keep it out in the front of you. If you like, oh, I didn't even get my blocks ready for practice. So you can have your blocks here, maybe, or a bolster. You can put the bolster on its end. We're going to rest our head on our blocks, our little Jenga blocks. So remember, you can take it higher if you need to. So we're going to bring the hands down by the blocks and gently fold it forward, letting the head come down onto the top of the block. Take a breath in, breath out, settle in. So here in this posture, we are gently letting go of that left knee, left hip. We are coming into a very soft back bend, so we're gently pulling the navel in towards the lower spine, rounding through the back, relaxing through the upper back and shoulders, letting the shoulders keep away from the ears as we soften our head down onto our props. If you feel that you need to take the props away, you can, of course. I've just taken my blocks away and just come into this half straddle fold. Maybe the hands or the fingers are down on the mat, maybe the forearms, but we are gently pulling that left buttock downwards towards the mat. So we're not trying to bring that buttock away from the mat to give us a deeper fold. Both buttocks are planted equally, grounding you to the mat. Remind yourself that this is a nurturing and nourishing full moon practice, and therefore not to fight with the posture or to fight against yourself. Work with yourself, work with the posture. Holding the pose, finding stillness in mind and body to work towards an edge and some level of challenge as you feel the sensation. Coming to the last 30 seconds here, so maybe if you haven't already changed the height of the blocks, you might just like to get a little deeper stretch in there and deeper release. Or you can prepare to come out just by bringing the hands back towards the body and slowly rolling up through the spine back to seated. When you come to seated, just take a moment to sit nice and tall. Notice how that feels to come out. We're just going to do a little release. So make sure your props are out of the way, but we're going to roll up onto our right knee and just gently circle the arm around, pushing the hips forward. Doesn't have to be too big, too forceful, just a gentle release, sitting back down and changing legs. So placing the blocks as you did on the other side, and you might notice that one side is going to be a little less challenging than the other. Again, taking that release into the fold as you breathe out.
And gravity takes you deeper. You don't have to force this posture at all.
If the left knee needs some extra support, you can always put a cushion or a bolster underneath that left knee. That's it. Doing great. And as we come to the other side, always being aware of differences and feelings and sensations from right to left. We are gently pulling the navel back towards the spine. Not too tight, just gently. Rounding through the entire back. Softening through the shoulders. Relaxing into the neck and the head. If you wish to go deeper, taking the blocks away, maybe moving down onto the fingertips, the palms, or the forearms. Trying to keep those sit bones grounded. In those last 30 seconds, you might choose to go a little bit deeper. And if you're ready to come out of the pose, you can always take your time to come back up to seated by bringing the fingertips back towards the body, rolling up through the spine. When you come up, shoulders align back on top of the hips, lengthening the spine. And then just release the legs again by pressing the hip forward, opening the arm up. Doesn't have to be too forceful here. And bring yourself down. Take both feet out in front of you and just release the knees right and left so the hands can come behind you. Knees go right and left. Good. How are we feeling? I'm going to go back down onto our mats on our back. We'll have a block to use or a cushion, depends, but I'd say a bolster is probably a bit too high. So we're going to go on the lowest level of your block. We're going to place that underneath our sacrum. So starting to come into a supported bridge first of all. Make sure that that block is not digging in. Those corners are not digging into the spine, but the buttocks hang off of the furthest edge away from you. Make sure you're spreading the shoulders out. The neck is long, so you have this little gap between the sternum and the chin. And if you like, again, choices, you might like to take the arms back into cactus. So let's start off for 1 minute hold in our supported bridge. The arms can be by the side of the body or in cactus. Start to bring awareness down in towards the lower back, the sacrum. It starts to feel heavier. The buttocks relax. The hip joints, the pelvis become heavy with gravity. Slow and steady breaths. Breathing in, long, slow inhale. Breathing out, long, slow, deeper exhale. You can stay here, or we can go into half pontoons. So extending the left leg only all the way along the mat. Keep the right leg bent. Now just notice as you let that left hip drop, left thigh relax, the leg becomes heavy. You can stay here. If you want to take this further, we're going to pull the right knee in towards the chest. So the arms scoop around, taking hold of the shin, and you're going to try and pull that knee towards the shoulder. We're going to stay here if this feels good, or you can go back to any of those previous options, the supported bridge or the half leg pontoon. Keep dropping the weight across that central part of the body, the pelvis, buttocks. We haven't done this one for a very, very long time. So just notice how this now feels. You know, we sometimes come into these knees to chest. We sometimes come into pontoon, but rarely put them together. So just notice the feelings that come up here. And release the right foot back down onto the mat. Keep the left leg straight. If you want, take the arms back up into cactus again. Spread the shoulder blades out. Lengthen the neck. If you want to take a 30-second full pontoon here, extend the right leg along the mat. Bring the right leg back. Place the foot down. Bring the left leg back. Place the foot down. Just make sure that you are still connected in the right way on top of that block and it's still comfortable for you. Returning back to supported bridge. Exhaling, dropping through the central, heaviest part of the body, through the pelvis and the hips. You can choose to stay here, or you might like to, again, extend the right leg this time, so half pontoon. Relax the right toes, right ankle, right calf, right thigh.
right hip flexor, right buttock. If it feels good to do so, scoop the hands around to take hold of the left shin. And then squeeze that thigh in towards the chest, squeezing the knee towards the left shoulder. Again, making sure that that right leg remains heavy and soft. Exhaling, letting go. As you exhale, that knee might come a little bit closer. Be intuitive and intelligent with your movements, with the choices that you make. You already have the wisdom and the knowledge of a yin practice. And you know your body best. Maybe a deeper exhale and a deeper squeeze. Releasing the hands, placing the left foot back down onto the mat, making sure that you're still comfortable with that block. Arms might come down by the sides, or again, return back to cactus. Spread the shoulder blades apart, lengthen the neck. Staying here or choosing to extend the left fully into your pontoon. Dropping that central weight across the block. Very passive back bend here. Bringing left leg back. Right leg back. Place both soles of the feet down, back into supported bridge. Realign if you need to. Hands come back down by the hips. And then press into the feet, press into the hands, lift the hips, and slide the block away. Take this nice and steady as you come down. So roll down each and every vertebra, keeping the hips nice and lifted. And come all the way down. And then just extend the legs, extend the arms up above the head. Big, nice star shape. Sway the hips left and right, give them a wiggle. Shimmy, 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 shimmy the thighs, shimmy the knees, shimmy the ankles, and shimmy the toes. Shake the legs. That's it. Bring the knees in, squeeze. Give yourself a massage now. So circle the knees together, round one way and the other. Open out the hips, one way and the other. take your time. We're going to come up to one more posture before we come back down onto reclined, but roll over to one side. No rush. And how are we feeling? Good. This is our yogi squat. So choosing your squat position, you might like to use a block. You might like to use a bolster. I'm going to go without either. So taking the feet just as wide as your mat. Take time to come into this one. So move the hips, move the feet. We haven't done any standing postures, so the ankles will feel a little bit tight as you come into this one. Send the knees nice and wide. Oh, ankles are cracking. And gently come into that squat position. So you're going to feel the release now into those hip flexors. Exhaling deeply. We're not here for long. Hands at the heart center, lengthen spine. Good. If you can, try and get the heels kind of pushing forward. That's it. Good. And we release. There you go. I told you you weren't there for long, but we are going to lift the hips up, heel toe the feet into parallel, and just dangle and sway from side to side with bent knees. So you can take hold of the elbows, or you can keep the hands down onto the mat. Just move the spine, move the hips, move the head, move the shoulders. Hands come down, just drop down to the knees, come into tabletop. Couple of rounds, cat and cow. Noticing how the spine now feels. Notice how the hips feel. Notice how the sacrum, the lower back. Drop it back into a wide leg child's pose to release it out. Bring the hands underneath the head, elbows wide. Exhale. I'm hoping that wide leg child's pose feels so much nicer than when we first started. So we start to roll ourselves up, use the hands. Come all the way up into your kneeling tadpole position there. Sit nice and tall. Take a few moments to just breathe in fully through the nose and just exhale through the mouth. And we come down onto our backs once more. Spin the legs around. Draw the knees in, roll and massage out as much as you need to. We're coming into our crescent side stretches. So our legs go long. We shuffle our shoulders over to the top right corner, and then we lift our arms up if that allows us to do that. You might take hold of the left wrist, and then you shuffle your feet to the bottom right, and maybe the left ankle crosses over. It doesn't have to. So we just kind of want a nice little C shape or a crescent moon in this one. It's called banana asana to some people, but it's a lateral side stretch. And if you were doing a Chandra Namaskar, which is lunar salutations in a flow sequence, you'd get one of these postures, which is standing. So soften out through that left side of the body. Our shoulders and our feet are on the right side of the mat. You might be feeling a stretch all the way from the armpit right down to the waist, right down the outer hip, outer thigh. First of all, we bring the head and the neck back into center. We then shuffle the shoulders over and bring the arms back down by the side of the hips. We then simply release the left leg. Take a moment to rest, neutral, aligned Shavasana. From here, shuffle the shoulders over to the left side. Try and keep the pelvis where it is. Lift the arms up if that feels good. Taking hold of the right wrist, letting the head drop to the left, and then maybe shuffling that right foot over. It might just sit next to the left foot. Or if you want a deeper stretch, crossing that right ankle over the left. Again, just closing the eyes, settling into that lateral side stretch all the way from the wrist to the ankle. Being aware as we've moved from side to side, how intense the challenge might be in this posture for you or how easy. Exhale tension. And almost visualize yourself from above, looking down at this beautiful crescent shape of the body with this nice side bend, side stretch. Breathing in, bringing the head back into the center, the neck, the shoulders, the arms back by the hips. Realign the upper body, release the lower body. Take a moment to rest in Shavasana. Take a breath in, lift the knees back up in towards the chest. Exhale, lengthening tailbone down. And then just give yourself a massage. Do what feels good here into the spine, into the hips, maybe opening it out those knees before our last posture, which is only a 2-minute hold, which is our reclined butterfly. So you can, of course, make the legs feel held and supported by using a bolster underneath the knees or blocks underneath the knees. Soles of the feet come together directly in line with the pubic bone, the navel, and the chest. And again, if you like, the arms can come out to the side or above the head, or maybe they connect to the body. So left hand on the belly, right hand on the heart. And you feel the breath rising underneath the palms. So wherever your arms are, just start to feel the belly rise and fall. Whether you chose to use props or not in this, try and relax the hip flexors, the inner thighs, and particularly those gluteal muscles. Let the knees and the legs become heavy. Breathing in deeply, filling belly and chest. Exhaling, softening, letting go. Being completely aware of your focus to the present, your breathing, and the sensations in the body. And release the hands to the thighs. Lift the knees together rather than let the legs do the work. Place the soles of feet wide. Let the knees drop in. Hands on the belly. Soften into that constructive rest pose. Relaxing knees, inner thighs, outer hips, and the buttocks. So believe it or not, the class seems to go super fast sometimes when you've got very few postures, but you're changing from right to left. And we're already at Shavasana, so make sure that you're warm, comfortable. Use blankets, eye pillows. Bolsters are nice underneath the knees. We've focused on a little bit of the lower back and the sacrum, so that just holds those knees up. And coming down into your final relaxation so that you can allow yourself to be completely still here. It's important to be comfortable and warm. And as you start to settle into this posture at the end of the practice, which brings everything together, it's a unity of mind and body and spirit.
Shavasana is your reward. It seals the deal. And it just prepares you before you go back into your day or into your evening. Remaining in the present, not letting the mind wander, finding that stillness, that yin principle of mind and body. I will let you enjoy the silence and let you know when it's time to come back around. Beginning to take a few deeper breaths as you bring your awareness back into your surroundings, back onto your mat, back into the body by bringing slow and gentle movement to the hands, to the feet. slow and gentle movement into the head and the neck. Deepening the breath as you stretch the arms up above the head, extending the legs away. Big, big stretch. Deep breath in, and then exhale, draw the knees in towards the chest. Gently roll and massage out through the spine. Take all the time that you need to roll over to one side and bring yourself back up where we started our practice with our Hakini Mudra. Drawing all fingers together and thumbs, dropping that down into the lap, resting the elbows by the sides of the body, sitting nice and tall. The facial expression is soft, relaxed, one of joy and accomplishment. Just tapping into why we practice Yin Yoga, for those 3 principles: to find stillness through the mind, to create space in the mind and the body, to create a sense of mindfulness and calm, and to work towards an edge which may challenge us, and we always will overcome those challenges. Always thanking yourself for your practice as you gently bring the palms together. At heart center, Anjali Mudra, gently bowing the head down in reverence and gratitude to yourself. And I thank you. Namaste.